Technology. And good morning, Dr. Campbell. So, leaders in this particular room, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Andrew E. Campbell, known to many as DR.ABC. Dr. Campbell is an assistant professor in leadership for racial justice and teacher education at Boise, University of Toronto. He also serves as coordinator of the Black Future Educators Program and director of the Center for Black Studies and Education. Throughout his career, he's been recognized as a passionate educator, scholar, and a leader whose work is focused on creating more equitable, inclusive, and impactful learning environments for all. His leadership and contributions to education have earned numerous honors, including the University of Toronto's 2026 Award for Excellence in Educational Leadership, along with several other distinguished awards recognizing his influence as both an educator and an advocate. What stands out most about Dr. Campbell, however, is not simply his impressive resume. It is his unwavering belief in people and in the power of leadership to create meaningful change. Whether speaking to educators, leaders, and communities, he has a remarkable ability to challenge us to reflect, reconnect with our purpose, and reimagine what is possible. His presentations are known for blending professional expertise, authentic storytelling, and practical wisdom in ways that leaves audiences inspired long after the session ends. Today, as we gather around the theme of the difference we make, inspiring greatness for every child, I know that Dr. Campbell will invite us to think deeply about our impact, our responsibilities, and the opportunities we have each day to influence the lives of those we serve. Please join me in giving a warm UCDSB welcome to Dr. Andrew E. Campbell.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you great.
Wonderful. Pity I can't get to see anyone. I would love to have seen your face. Wonderful. Look at that. It's magic. Now we're in business. That's it. We're in business. Good morning and good morning, everyone. And it's such an honor and a privilege to be here to speak to you all. I literally always say this, and I mean it with all my heart. I count it a privilege when I am asked to speak to leaders. This is a room of powerful people. And I always say to people, whenever I get the opportunity to speak to leaders, I pour all into everything. But somehow, let me just be frank, I think I pour a little extra when I get to speak to leaders. Because here is the truth. I'm speaking to a room full of people who are the impactors and the influencers. So when I was asked, and this topic was the difference we make, inspiring greatness for every child, I was happy because I said to myself, this is a board that understands that our role as leaders, principal, vice principals, superintendents, directors, office leaders, HR department, janitorial department, all the departments, that as leaders, we do inspire greatness in each other and of course in our school. And, so I love this. I'm online quite a bit on social media and people ask me, oh, Dr. ABC, or they say, Andrew, are you a social media influencer? And I always say no. I used to always say no. And of course, I've corrected that. And many people have corrected that with me because I do not monetize my social media. So I'm not there to make videos so I can make money. We're blessed over this side, right? However, I do understand the power of my presence, my voice, my actions, and my practice. And so, yes, I own the fact that I am an influencer. So getting the opportunity to speak to a room of leaders, to say to the leaders, you make a difference and you inspire greatness, it's big, it's major. It's absolutely major. I know we are trying to steal the camera because somebody's making me dizzy, okay? I know we're trying to steal the camera, right? And so it's important. It's important that you understand that yes, you are impactors and you are asked to make a difference. It's very important. And I want you to remember the difference you make comes in the power of your voice, your actions, your presence, your practice, and your pedagogy. Some of you I know are taking notes. I want you to write that down. You make a difference in inspiring greatness by your presence, the way you show up, the way you enter the building, the way you enter classrooms, the way you enter meetings, the way you walk into committees, the way you welcome parents in, by your presence. You and I know that body language is an entire language. You don't need to open your mouth to start to influence and impact. And let me just put it in right now because it's important. And you don't have to open your mouth either to disparage, to show deficit, or to do something to do something negative. So yes, as leaders, we do that by our voice, our actions, our presence, our practice, and our pedagogy. And so today, another thing I want to say as we begin this conversation is we are so used to PD sessions at the beginning of the year. And let me just make a public statement for any educator who's listening to me, any educator who is like, you're so over PD sessions, I need you to stop. I'm dead serious. Any one of you roll your eyes over PD, I need you to stop. We never stop learning. Any teacher, and I've heard many educators say, oh my God, I'm so tired of PD. You're tired of growing and learning? The world is changing so much. I am a million miles behind AI. There's so much for me to learn. There's a new strategy every day. There's a new method. There's a new idea. There's a new gadget. How are we keeping ourselves tooled if we are so tired of PD? That's a sidebar. Let me get back into it. So let's get into it. And so the idea of coming to these sessions and getting the tools to be a leader, to get in the content and the methodologies and the new system, that's powerful. One thing we often overlook, and that is focusing on you, the leaders. Just focus on you. And I was so elated when I was asked to do this, because I could do many topics. I could do lesson planning. I can do the millions of stuff that I can do as a teacher of many years. But when I get to speak to you about you, that's powerful. So I want to inspire you as you get to inspire greatness in every child. And we're going to use 4 different subtopics today. We're going to talk about leadership readiness. We're going to talk about positionality as a leader. We're going to talk about how we cultivate greatness through belonging. Hello. And we're going to talk about self-care and self-preservation. I'm going to begin with a story. So I want to anchor. I want to begin with this conversation with a story, my story, one of my stories of impact and influence. So before I came to University of Toronto, I was a TDSB teacher. And I've been from board to board, from school to school, because I was an LTO for years by choice. And I was at this particular school, and I stayed there for 4 years. 4 years as an LTO, yes. Every year somebody got pregnant. Every year, the school was a very, a good spirit of fertility in the school. Every year somebody got pregnant, and I was asked to come back. And let me just tell you this. The year I left, which is the 4th year, I said, I'm going. Is anybody expecting? Anybody's pregnant? They laughed. They said, no. Well, would you believe it? The August they called me and said, DR.ABC, yes, somebody's pregnant. But I was gone. So beautiful, right? And at that school, I taught for 4 years. So how do I get my keynote opportunities? I get them very, very often through the very same method. I will get an email, good morning, Dr. ABC, I am such and such, or do you remember me? We met somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And I love your work, I follow you, and I would love for you to be the speaker. And that's how the conversation starts online from most of my opportunities. This particular day, I got the same email just like that. And I noticed the name, it's a student leadership body of Queen's University. This is not a club. This is not a committee. This is a big student education leadership body. And these are powerful students who are keeping their big conference. And they are going out for guest speakers. And let me just say this. They are going out to choose their speakers. They can choose anyone. They literally have a beautiful budget. Hint, hint. Okay. So when I logged on, I saw the names. Of course, names are names. I don't see people. I logged on, just like I logged on to have discussion with your superintendent. I logged on, and when I logged on, there was Sarah, my grade 5 student I taught years ago. There she was. She's the president. She's the one doing the hiring. She's the one doing the selecting. Oh, I felt that in my body just now. Thank you, ancestors. She's the one doing the selecting. She's the one doing the nominating. That group is the one making the final decision. I taught that young lady in grade 5. I taught her sister in grade 6. And I taught her brother. And I fought back tears right through that meeting. And when I came off the call, the tears flowed. And you say, why Dr.ABC? I'm sitting down on my computer and I'm thinking, this body of students at Queen's University could have chosen anybody. They're not asking me to volunteer or to do anything for free. They have a beautiful budget. They could have selected anyone. And someone says, let me go for my grade 5 teacher. Are you serious? I hope I'm speaking to you. I hope it's getting into you in the first couple minutes. She could have chosen anyone, and she says, I am going to choose my grade 5 teacher, my dancing teacher, who has influenced and impacted my life. How are you and I making a difference, inspiring greatness for every child? How are we doing that? So let me jump right into the first one is our leadership readiness. Years ago, I was a reading specialist. Well, I'm still is. I was a reading specialist, a young teacher reading specialist. And when you teach a group of early childhood children, or you teach kids who are students who are behind, you have to test them for the next level. You know, a diagnostic testing, we call it back then. And so you're moving on, and we did a battery of tests, and it was called the readiness test. What we had to do was to measure, test, and diagnose if these students were ready for grade 1, ready for the next grade, ready to move on. And I'm going to tell you something. A part of the test battery, there was a test called auditory discrimination, which means the ability to hear a sound amidst other sounds. So I'm sitting here, I could hear the dog barking, I could hear the kettle whistle, I could hear the tree rustle. There must be an auditory discrimination. Some kids are struggling because that's not working, but you and I don't know. So when you say B, they hear every single letter. That's a different workshop. And we had visual discrimination, the ability to differentiate between a P, a B, a D, a Q, a G, a Y. Anybody see what I just did? A P, a D, a B, a Q. They almost look the same according to how you turn the books. But they must be able to discriminate between them. Funny enough, back in those days, the word discriminate for me in my vocabulary meant ability to know the difference. Now I've learned so much more about what discrimination looks like. And that's why when we talk about the children are too young to have this conversation, I have to tell you, we have to rubbish that idea. We teach them what difference looks like from an early age. But the point I'm making is we had to do that test to say we were ready. And this child was ready, and we would sign off on the reading to say this child is ready for grade 1. How ready are you as a leader? We're all gathered. We are looking fabulous. You are looking fabulous. How ready are you to say, I am ready to do what? To inspire greatness. Let me just say this. This is a big topic. I know we're not teaching trigonometry. We're not doing AI. We're not doing some biological testing and experiment. This is a big topic. Inspiring greatness. Letting our children know that they can, they will. It's possible. That's a big job. If I could get a full-time job where my full-time job is to inspire, I would take it. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Long as you don't cut my salary, I will take it. If I have to go about and all my job is to do is to speak life and inspire. Because let me tell you this, we need it. Our teachers need it. I'm speaking to you principals. I'm speaking to you principals. Our teachers need it. I'm speaking to you vice principals. Our parents need it. I'm speaking to you superintendents. Our principals need it. I'm speaking to you director. Our superintendents need it. Nobody's too big to be inspired. And nobody's is too titled or too promoted to need to be reminded the value they bring. Have you ever meet a principal who is down? Have you ever met a principal who is losing it? Have you ever met a principal who is discouraged? Have you ever met a principal who feels to give up? And that principal will tell you one of the things that always is said, I do not feel valued. Excuse me this morning. How do we ensure? I know I came here with the intention to speak to making a difference and inspiring greatness in every child. But my energy also says to remind you that you have to inspire your staff as well. I would never want to be a principal for a demotivated staff. I don't even want to work at that school. And I've been to schools like that where the entire staff is demotivated because the principal does not inspire greatness. Oops, oops, Dr. Campbell, don't go there. Oops, Dr. Campbell, don't go there. Oops, don't go there. Well, I've already gone. We have to self-examine ourselves, to ask ourselves, do I have the readiness, the leadership readiness? And guess what? I want you to know that readiness can be improved. So what we would do is when we test a student and they lack readiness in a particular area, those days we taught penmanship. Oh, world has changed, you know. Those days we taught penmanship as a subject. Delineation and writing as a subject. And when we found a child could not scribe and could not write or could not differentiate letters, then we go back to remediation. Which principal, superintendent, I felt that again, just now in front of me would say, Dr. ABC, I need some remediation in a particular area. I spoke to a young man yesterday who told me he cried at school because there was an incident, and he told me what happened, and he told me how the principal spoke and the parents, and I looked at him. He was 1 feet away from me, up close, and I said to him, you were wrong. We're not telling our friends they are wrong anymore. We're not telling the principal next door to us that she's wrong anymore. We're not telling the teacher that he's wrong anymore. We're not telling the art teacher that they are wrong anymore. You don't have to do it in an aggressive, hurtful way. We sat 1 feet away from each other. We were having lunch. And I said to him, you were wrong. How are we working on our leadership remediation? I said to the same young man, I said to him, I can tell you about my own growth as a leader. I can tell you about the mistakes I made when I was a young teacher back in Jamaica at Waterford Primary. I could tell you about the mistakes I've made as a young administrator at Lanneman's Prep in Kingston, Jamaica. I could tell you about interpersonal conversation that I did not do well when I was at St. John's College in Nassau, Bahamas. I could tell you about an incident where I did not handle it well as a teacher at St. Francis and Joseph School in the Bahamas. How are you self-examining and saying, in order for me to impact and influence and inspire greatness, I got to be great myself? Excuse me? Hello? I got to be great myself. Can't give what you don't have. Sometimes we struggle why a particular leader among us is never giving you words of kindness. I'm going to look down, and I won't look at you. I'm going to look down because I'm a little bit ashamed in saying it. So I'm going to look down. I'm going to cast my eyes down. The reason why that person can't give you any words of joy and any words of kindness, because they have none. Oops. They have none. You can't offer what you don't have. So when I'm saying to you strongly about you need to measure and think about your own greatness and inspire yourself and work on your self-evaluation, work on your self-review, work on your self-renewal, work on your self-revitalization, work on you. So let me give you my next story, because I'm a storyteller and I love a story, and you like a story, and a story is good for you. So I was a teacher in Jamaica, trained in Jamaica, graduated Teachers College 1995, did amazing, just did absolutely amazing. Got promotion, got new job, like I was doing the most. I love teaching. And I left Jamaica in 2000 to the Bahamas. And just remember, I was amazing in my school. I can tell you the name of the school because I have the evidence. Waterford Primary School in Portmore, Jamaica, and Lanneman's Prep. I was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I left and I went to the Bahamas. Now, nobody in the Bahamas know who I am. They don't know who is coming. They don't know it's Mr. Campbell. They just know me as a new teacher. So the new teacher goes to Jordan Prince William Baptist School. And I am teaching grade 5. And I'm very good at what I do. And I'm walking past, I'm teaching and doing the most. I'm doing the absolute most. I'm a new teacher in a new country, first month. And I walk past a class. And the teacher there is Miss Watson. She's in Nassau, Bahamas. She's teaching grade 4. And I stopped at the door and I looked in Miss Watson's class. And I was in awe. I know I was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But Miss Watson, she is super cali. You get it. Thank you. I was not in a competition with her. I was in awe. I have never seen a classroom that beautiful. The energy that came out of her body, I was like, wow. I was inspired. I was inspired. And I spoke to her. I said to her, I'm the new teacher. She said, I know, I see you, always dressed up. You know what I'm saying? And she said to me, I said to her, how do you make those charts? And she tell me what she do. I said, where do you get that from? And she tell me where to go. I said, so show me what you do. And she showed me your lesson plan. You're not listening to me. I am good at what I do already. And now I'm getting to be better. So I can be great. So I can inspire greatness. Well, let me cut that story short because I'm going to have to move on. I did the most that year. I was not in no competition with Miss Watson. I was inspired by Miss Watson. You know what happened? That year, in a school of 77 teachers, I was nominated and voted Teacher of the Year. That is greatness. That is impact. That is influence. That's not your friends nominating you and give me an award. Because nowadays, that seems to be the in thing. Everybody get an award like we're giving a kindergarten lollipop. You get a lollipop, you get a lollipop, you get a lollipop. And then we question, why did you give that person a lollipop? You have no reason. Oh, we're just giving out awards. I want to earn my awards. When I was introduced just now, I was introduced as receiving the award. You're looking at the 2026 professor at OISE for excellence in leadership. 2-3 years ago, I got another award for excellence in teaching. They only give out 6 to 7 awards. Just so you know, let me measure it for you. What am I saying? Is that a boast? It's not a boast. It is sharing it to you, the intentionality behind your work. So let's move into the next topic of positionality and intentionality. As a leader, in order to inspire greatness, you have to be very clear on where you stand. Who are you? Who are you? No, I know you are the superintendent, but who are you? Oh, I know you are the curriculum development manager. I know you are the principal, but no, who are you? Because let me say this very plain and very clear. Who you are determines how you lead. We have been trying our best to get leaders who have no equity, leaders who are racist, leaders who see deficit in certain people. We have been trying so hard to get them to be equitable and inclusive, and we are failing because at their core, they are not that person. At that core, they are not who they say they are. At the core, let me say something. I said it the other day. I'm going to say it to you again, to a different group. You are more than the title in your signature. Oops, here we go again. Here we go again, DR.ABC. Here we go again. It's a Wednesday. You're doing too much. Is it Wednesday or is it Tuesday? It's a Wednesday. You are more than just your signature. And I want you to think about who you are behind the signatures, beyond the signatures, higher than the signatures. And I did use the word higher because at your core, you are more than. I am more than the assistant professor at University of Toronto, a job I love dearly, an institution I am honored to work at, but I am more than the assistant professor. Because at my core, I am somebody's good friend. At the core, I am an amazing uncle. At my core, I am a good neighbor. At my core, I am a good person in the street out there. At my core, I am a kind person. At my core, I open doors and I keep them open. Who are you? Your positionality. So let me tell you another scenario. I teach a course for years at Queen's University. I taught online. And in that course is a leadership course. Every semester, every time I teach a course, they had to write their teaching philosophy, their leadership philosophy. I can tell you, many people, I'm going to tell you this. I have gotten a lot of thank you for that assignment. And just so you know, that assignment values 10%. It's a just check. It's an incomplete, complete assignment. You complete it, you get the 10%. And I've gotten a lot of thank you for that assignment. Because people get to understand the value of sitting down and thinking to yourself, what kind of leader I am and what kind of leader I want to be. So over the years, I have written quite a bit of teaching statements. I have written teaching statements. I can go far back as 2015 to find them, 2011. And when I look back at my teaching philosophy and my leadership philosophy, I laugh and smile. Sometimes I laugh because of the things that I said and I go, wow, well, that sounds a little bit off or crazy. And I would laugh because I was just at that level of maturity. And then I look at others and I go, wow, wow, you have really walked into your words. Ooh, ooh, I felt that again. Ooh, you have really walked into your words. You are really disrupted leadership status quo by walking into your word. Wow, you have not engaged in performative inclusion action. You have walked into your words. You have not allowed yourself to be some super token and forget your purpose and your calling. You have walked into your words in spite of sometimes the risks. Our lives are risks. So we use the word risk as if something coming to get you, like the risky boogeyman. I'm a black gay man from Jamaica, immigrant. My life comes with risks. I was born in a country where I face risks and still face those risks in 2026. So I'm going to read for you something very important. I'm going to read for you my statement of leadership I submitted to the university last year for my pre-tenure package situation. I want you to listen to it. And if you have the time while you're sitting there, take out your phone. You have my permission. Don't be checking no emails. You can't be distracted. This is too juicy. Don't lose it. It's too juicy. Don't lose it. And I would like you to go into your note pages. You have my permission. And I want you to write down little notes about who you are as a leader. What are some of the words that define your leadership? As I'm talking, I want you to type in your thingy. And if you don't want to type, I want you to think. If I had to write this, if the board says every principal should write your statement of leadership, what would be in yours? So listen to my statement I officially submitted to the University of Toronto. Since entering teaching training college in 1992, I have carried with me a foundational belief. Learning is a change in behavior brought about by an experience. That conviction, simple but profound, continues to shape every facet of my teaching practice. The classroom is not just a site of instruction. It is a space for transformation where students should have the opportunity to experience and embody meaningful change. This commitment has deepened over 27 years of teaching in diverse contexts across 4 countries. I have taught in public and private schools, as well as specialized and community-based programs, and in higher education. These experiences, watch me carefully, have affirmed my belief that the best educators are constant learners, open to evolving, unlearning, reimagining their practice to remain relevant and impactful. I wrote this last year about February. I didn't write this because I was coming to speak to you. It's in the document submitted to the university. So when I say reimagine, when I say evolving, when I say impacting, when I say growing to remain relevant, I am telling you from my heart what I've said to myself. The last paragraph. Since joining the Ontario Institute in Education, I have continued to grow as a leader, teacher, and scholar. My work now centers on preparing future educators to face and shape the changing Canadian classroom, one that is increasingly defined by immigration, intersectionality, and a growing demand for representation. As a faculty member, coordinator, and director, I challenge teachers to know themselves, confront their biases, and lead with integrity at the core of their practice. This narrative traces that journey, past, present, and future, and highlights how my work in leadership, teaching, and research, watch me everybody, is grounded in a single enduring goal: to be part of the change our classrooms so urgently need. What is your statement? What is the focus of your leadership so you can inspire every child? I did say every child. I'm going to repeat it. I know it's on the board, but I'm going to repeat it. Every child. I want to repeat it. Every child. Not the children who come from certain backgrounds that are easy to teach. Not the ones who we are easy to communicate with because they speak with Canadian English and they have no accent. Not the ones who are easy to jump in because they are not in the wheelchair, they are not blind, they are not deaf, they are not impaired in any way, they are not, they don't have any physical disabilities, and we don't have to go through the work of creating access. And it should be a work, should be a pleasure, because that's quality teaching. If they don't have access to the greatness that you have, they cannot be great. Let me repeat that. If our children don't have access to the greatness that you have to offer, they cannot be great themselves. What words defined your leadership? How do you inspire greatness? We don't have to do it the same way. I always tell people, you don't have to have my personality to be a keynote speaker. I have sat in tons of keynote, and people are not like me. And I have been inspired. I have cried in people's keynote. I have taken notes until I have had 4 or 5 page of notes. I have been inspired to change by others' keynote. I have been moved to my core by other people's messages. And they don't do it like me. They do it like themselves. So when I say inspire greatness, you have to decide, what is my strategy? As a leader, as a principal, as a superintendent, as a staff leader, as an administrative support leader, what are your strategies to inspire greatness in your team? Let me get into the next one. The next one is inspiring greatness to nurturing and belonging. Now, this has been a sticky point. At one point, EDI was like our favorite word, favorite acronym. And we had EDI, we had DIEB, we had JDI, JDI. Oh my God, come on, Star Treks. We were doing the absolute most. And all of a sudden, we got up one day and somebody said DEI is dead. And we all started to mourn. Or some of us was just happy. Yet still the people who we worked through equity and belonging and inclusion and kindness and care, they still exist in our school. But somehow we are washed our hands and we are done with DEI. But the students and the families and the teachers who we had committed that DEI strategy to, they are still among us. Still among us in deficit, still among us in hurt, still among us in trauma, still among us with mental health and anxiety, still among us. DEI is not dead. I'm going to give you a personal secret why it's not. When I interviewed for this job that I have at the university in 2022, I was asked a question on the interview panel. Sometimes I wish I could go back and ask them for the video of that particular answer because it was so powerful. It came out of my body. So powerful. They asked me about equity. Tell them about equity. And I know the answer that they wanted, because, these interviews, they wanted me to, maybe have quote, equities people and who I am reading, professor kind of energy, which is great. I love it. And I could have done that. But I told him a story, because the stories are powerful. And I told them, when I graduated from Teachers College in 1995, I work in a school with students who were in grade 5 and 6 that could not even spell their names. I work in an inner city school. People would call it a ghetto area. I work in schools where those students lived in the assumptions and the stereotypes we often make about children from those areas. And I went to that school to teach. I knew nothing about equity and inclusion. We never use that word. I don't know no equity word. I learned about equity, using the word equity, when I came to Canada in 2008. I met equity in 2009. But what I know was that, come on now, I felt that to inspire greatness in these people's children. I don't want that to miss you. I did say people's children. I don't want you to miss it. I did not say my child. I did not say my neighbors and my nephews and my nieces, because it is easy for us to extend equity to the people we love and care about. It's easy to extend the equity and the belonging to the people in our families, the people who look like us, the people who come from our cul-de-sac. When you invite me back again, I want to break down the cul-de-sac. I call a lot of people on the cul-de-sac, cul-de-sacians, because they want to project that they are global citizens, but they are not, because they only like the people who are on their cul-de-sac. You are not a global thinker. You are cul-de-sacian. I'll unpack that another time. In order for me to inspire these people's children, I'm going to tell you what I did. Watch me carefully. I use kindness. I use care. I use love. Long before equity and belonging and inclusion and decolonize and reimagine and abolitionist pedagogy and liberatory pedagogy and freedom dreaming and all the terminologies that we like to put in our papers. Long before that, we had kindness, we had care, we had love for people's children. Something inside of you said, I need to make sure this child leave here knowing that they belong to this school and we see them. How do we inspire greatness when our children do not feel a sense of belonging? How do we inspire greatness? How do we inspire greatness when our children feel less than? When they are ridiculed for their identity, ridiculed for their accent, ridiculed because they don't speak Canadian English, ridiculed because of what they wear, ridiculed because of what they eat and what they drink and what they bring to school in their lunch. You know I'm talking facts. Check the book, Don't Yuck My Yum. You know many children are teased because of their food. Ridiculed because of where they live. I was in a school in Toronto once, and this particular child was in the class, and I noticed a behavior with the children and this particular child. And one of the children, because I was new to the school, they taught me, little children, they are very informed. She said, Mr. Campbell, he doesn't come from the neighborhood, he comes from the buildings. Oh. This is a neighborhood with 2- and 3-car garage. This is a neighborhood with beautiful trees that line the avenues. Oh, absolutely. It's like a magazine. I taught there. I could tell you. Facts. But this child, he came from the buildings. Okay. I was informed by the student that Mr. Campbell, he comes from the building. She doesn't mean any harm by it. What she's just letting me know that, by the standards of the school, he really don't belong here. And if you want to know that I'm speaking facts, a year after being at that school, I went to a staff meeting. See, that's why I'm not telling you the name of the school. I went to a staff meeting and a teacher had a concern. Watch me carefully. And she was concerned about out of the neighborhood children coming to the daycare center. Because if they come to the daycare center, I guess there's something, and they can come to the school. And those children, they come from the building. That's why when people invite me to speak about inclusion and belonging and equity, and they want me to tiptoe and serve you candy and sparkles, don't hire me. Please do not hire me. Please do not invite me to anything to talk about inclusion and equity when you want me to talk about candy and sparkles. Because it's not candies and sparkles. It's real. And real children do not know they can be great. They don't know they can be great because we are lacking people in the building to tell them they are great. How do we tell the child from the building that he's great? How do we tell the child with the learning disability that he's great? How do we tell the child on the spectrum, the one diagnosed and undiagnosed, that he too can be great? How do we tell the child whose parent never comes to school and will never come to a PTA meeting that he too can be great? How do we tell the black child, the immigrant child, the LGBTQ queer child, the indigenous child, that they are great? How do we do that? We do that through our actions. We do that through our words. We do that intentionally. We do that because, watch me carefully, because we too are great. This morning when I clicked online, and when they finally get to see you all, I'm going to tell you what I saw. I saw a room full of great people. I'm not saying that to be cute. I'm not saying that to be nice. If you know me, you know me. I see a room full of great people. I am one of those persons like many of you who used to cry. I don't do it anymore now. But I used to cry every June. Every June. Every single June I cried. When the classroom was packed up and the children were gone, and I pack up my stuff and lock up the cupboard, I just cried. I cried because what an opportunity, what a privilege I had to influence and impact people's children. I cried because they loved Mr. Campbell. I cried because parents would come to me and say, Mr. Campbell, my child speaks about you at the dinner table every night. Every evening he comes home, he has something to tell me. Mr. Campbell did this, Mr. Campbell did that. Mr. Campbell was on the table. Mr. Campbell did this in the ceiling. Mr. Campbell let us do this. Mr. Campbell went for a tree trip. Mr. Campbell slid on the slide. He was over the toboggan. He was playing in the snow. Mr. Campbell take off his shoes. He slid in his socks. Let me just say this, everybody, in a very, very, very deep breath way. When you know the greatness inside of you, you have to know that you can share it. I saw a room full of amazing leaders. I turn my hats off to you people. I'm telling you, principals, vice principals, in today's school, you have to be great to do this well. And for those of you sitting listening to me and you kind of in your heart thinking, well, I hear you, Dr. Campbell, I'm not so great. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. To do this job well, to have managed the year, have closed out the year, and ready to open a new school year, oh God, you have to be great. You have to be good at this. This is not for novice. Leading schools is not for novice. It's for you who have done it for years, who could teach me a thing or two. That's how I see you. And so in closing, I want to leave you with something very important. And I want you to realize I have it on my notepad. I want to hold it up so you can see it, because I want you to realize how powerful what I'm going to say is to you. I want you to realize that you have to be well enough to be good enough. I want you to think about all the things you have to do. I want you to remember all the things you have to get done. And there's a lot. There is a lot. And I want you to remember, in order to be great, in order to maintain your greatness, you have to be well enough to be good enough. You have to take care of yourself. You have to engage in rest. I know when I'm saying these things, some of you are listening to me and thinking, he just lost me. He's telling me about self-care and rest. He has no idea what kind of school I work at. I want you to listen to me carefully. Self-care is necessary. Self-care is essential. Self-care is powerful. As I said to you before, you have to be well enough to be good enough. You have to be well enough to be great enough. You have to be well enough to inspire, impact, and influence. And I need you to take care of yourself. Now, when I say self-care, I'm not talking about a spa day. I'm not talking about getting your nails done. I'm not talking about making sure you get a facial. Those are all important. Those are all important. Do them, I do them. But I'm also talking about checking on your body. Being quiet in your energy. Taking time out to have a cup of tea. Taking time out to have a glass of wine. Oh yes, I did say that. Oh yes, I did. Taking time out to have a walk. Taking time out to be in your garden and water your plants. That's therapy for many people. I'm getting to learn that myself. It's a new thing for me. I have a garden that I'm in love with now, and I water it and take my time. I used to hear people do that, and I go, really? And now I realize how powerful that is. Speaking to someone when you're feeling overload. Speaking to someone, having that one confidant that you can say, I am not feeling good today. Without feeling embarrassed, without feeling less than, without feeling that you're failing. You have to attend to your self-care. So what does self-care look like for you? I don't know. But I'm going to share a few things for me, what self-care looks like. And you can go back into your phone and type as I'm talking. For me, self-care and well-being looks like having people around me that care for me and check on me. I check on a lot of people. I'm a checker. I'm a checker. I check on way more people than check on me. That's just a fact. That's not a complaint. That's just a fact. But when I get those emails and those, not emails alone, but messages and texts and WhatsApp, hey, Andrew, just checking on you. I haven't heard from you. I haven't seen you online in a couple of days. Just sending love. Oh, it fills me up. Words are powerful, you know. Words are powerful. It is working with colleagues I enjoy working with. We're talking about self-care and well-being, everybody. We're talking about self-care and well-being. For me, it is working with colleagues I enjoy working with. Sometimes I close my eyes and I think to myself how blessed I am to work with people that I actually enjoy working with. And sometimes I let my adventurous mind imagine what it would be like working at the University of Toronto with colleagues that I do not like. I could tell you I don't stick around. Oh, you get to know me, you'd know me. I don't stick around. No money is going to let me stick around in damage and danger. No money is going to let me stick around in damage and danger. None. Dr. Campbell, you're speaking a little bit too boastful. None. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm qualified like you. You're qualified. Why would you sit in a job that you are hurt and pained and traumatized day in, day out? Well-being for me is feeling a sense of belonging, value and respect when I enter spaces. That's well-being for me. It makes me a better person on the inside. It adds to my joy, my care, my love. It adds to my reservoir. It fills me up. It's a pouring in. It is taking a trip. I love the plane. I always say I'm going to fall in love with a pilot. Don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. It is being in water, by the river, by the sea. And watch me carefully. It's taking a bath in my shower, standing in my shower, and letting the water just beat on me after a heavy day. DR.ABC, excuse me. You have heavy days? DR.ABC, excuse me. You have heavy days? I thought all your days were beautiful. None of us in this room always have beautiful days. None of us. I'm telling you, none of us always feel amazing. None of us always feel great. None of us. But on the days when I don't feel great enough, on the days when I don't feel Andrew enough, on the days when I don't feel a sense of belonging enough, on the days when I don't feel the black joy enough, those are the days I run to the friend, to the colleague. Those are the days I work at myself. Those are the days I rest. Those are the days I go into the water. Those are the days I allow the shower to beat on me. Those are the days I cry, not because I'm broken, but because I want to stay in my body and I want to release. Yes, I did say cry. I did say cry. It's on my notepad. I have it there. Cry. I don't make it up. Crying is important. Get it out. Those are the days I pray and I meditate. Those are the days I seek intervention from a higher source. Whether you're Christian or Muslim or no religion or African spirituality, you seek sustenance from a higher source. Somebody, something bigger than you and I. Those are the days I seek for a belly full of laughter. Those are the days I seek to enjoy in blackness. Those are the days I want to cook a good meal and share it with a friend. All summer, I have not hosted because I've been outside traveling. I have not hosted at my house in about 2 months. And I am missing the people. I'm missing the people. It's work to host people in your house, but it's amazing work. I'm missing the people who come to my house and we have a meal and we laugh and we talk and we hug, and somebody goes upstairs and they hug somebody and there's a cry. Somebody's on my staircase sitting on, and two women are talking, and I see a deep hug. Oh, I know the power of that. I want you to understand, to be great, you have to work on yourself. I want you to understand, to inspire greatness in our students, in all our staff, in our teachers and our staff members. You have to work on you. You have to make sure you know how to repair, revive, renew, refresh, redo, reflect. Greatness is not a single moment. It's not an occasion. It's a state. I leave you and remind you as we go that in order to inspire greatness in our students, just remember how great you are. And if you don't feel as great as you should, work on increased greatness. Because when you are full with so much love, when you're full with so much care, when you're filled with so much belonging and inclusion and equity and kindness and care, the only thing you can do is pour it out to others. That's automatic. When you're full, you pour out. We don't overflow. We don't keep it in. We don't choke on our own greatness. Where did that come from just now? Where did that come from? We don't choke on our own greatness because we keep it to ourselves. If you ever wonder why I pour out so much, if I kept all the goodness inside of DR.ABC, I would choke on it. That came out of nowhere. I think that came from the ancestors. Let me leave you with that. We don't hold the greatness inside of us to choke on it. My mother would call that glutton. We give it out. We give it to the parents. We give it to the children. We give it to those who are pushed to the edges, and we pull them in closer. We give it to our staff. We give it to everyone. Because when you have so much greatness, the only thing you can do is give it to others. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Wishing you an amazing school year. And on the days when you don't feel as great, check in on your body. Check in on yourself. I love you. I appreciate you. I am honored to be one of your speakers in this back to school getting together gathering. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.